Klaus, I got to ask you first, as someone so closely connected to the automotive industry, although clearly other industries could be affected by a trade war, what do you make of the rhetoric out of Washington?
Good morning to London. Thanks for the question. That's an obvious point to ask. You know, we are a global supplier. We have 6 plants in the United States. We deliver our customers from the United States, and we buy most of our steel and our raw material in the United States. So the fact or the risk of a potential tariff is a problem that we can bear. That's for sure. For us, directly shouldn't be a big problem. However, we are concerned that this next step triggers a trade war and even increases the protectionist risk even further. And as we are part of a global supply chain, it's very important from our point of view that this risk is properly handled and that we avoid any type of tariff for the benefit of our customers, but also for the benefit of the global consumers.
So, I mean, what do you do in this situation? Do you have lobbyists that are working in Washington to try and calm things down, in Brussels as well? Because we also see that the EU wants to retaliate.
Well, look, we don't have own people in Washington for this, but we have enough people to talk to, and we are part of a German industry that is a global industry. We talk to our customers, we talk to our suppliers, we talk publicly as we do today, and we want to make sure that the business leaders speak with one voice, that protectionism is the wrong direction. Once again, to the benefit of the customers, we should avoid these type of trade wars and the tariffs that are under discussion at the moment. We watch the situation carefully. We are prepared if that comes, but I think, once again, it should be avoided.
What are your biggest raw materials costs that you look at, Klaus? Because you're one of the biggest rolling bearings players in the world, if not the biggest, and I assume that steel costs are a huge piece of that.
Yes, we buy more than 1 billion tons of steel a year. To put that in perspective, that is every 2 times the Eiffel Tower. So steel is critical for us. It's not the only raw material, but that is one of the major raw materials that we work with. Everything we do is made out of steel. It's high precision, and therefore it's not only the broad band steel, it's also all types of specialty steel that we need. So we are watching that very carefully, and so far we have benefited from low material prices. There is a certain uncertainty going forward that prices will increase. So far, we have not seen that. There is ample capacity around the globe for steel, but this new situation could change this. And once again, we want to make sure that we can benefit from good steel prices also in the future.
Klaus, I was at the Geneva Motor Show yesterday, and most of the CEOs I spoke with, from Peugeot to Renault to Ford and many other companies, actually were very optimistic about the European auto market. But if you talk to analysts, it looks very peaky, maybe even ready to roll over and decline in Europe. How's your view on the European auto market?
Look, we are a supplier. We are a global supplier. We supply most of the big car makers around the globe. We think globally the market will grow, maybe around 2% on a positive note. Our plan is, once again, to outgrow the market by around 4%. For us, it's very important that we see the innovation. The innovation comes out of Europe. There's a lot to do, in particular in the e-mobility, hybridization space, and for that we are very well positioned.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that, because if it hadn't been for the trade war rhetoric, the show really would have focused almost completely on electric mobility. How can Schaeffler specifically benefit from the electrification trend?
Look, one of our key focus areas in our strategy Mobility for Tomorrow is CO2 efficient powertrain solutions. We are working since years in this area, and the whole spectrum, in particular of hybridization, that becomes now also after the diesel discussion even more important, is a big opportunity for us. We've invested a lot into this area. We have just separated all the activities into a separate business division. We're about to establish 3 global competence centers here, and we see this as a significant opportunity going forward for us with our high-precision mechanical technology in particular, but also with the new mechatronic competence we are building as we speak.